In this very session, we shall be looking at factorization by grouping. But remember, we are still on algebraic expression. Now, with factorization by grouping, algebraic expression having four terms are factorized by grouping. So examples of such algebraic expressions are MP plus NT minus MT plus NP. We can also talk of, let's say, AX plus BY plus CX plus dy. So algebraic expression of this very form are being factorized by grouping. You can see that we have four terms: 1, 2, 3, 4, 1, 2, 3, 4. So you can factorize this algebraic expression by grouping. Now, in factorizing algebraic expression by grouping, we are first going to group the terms such that each pair will have or can have a common variable. Then after that, with those two groupings, we factorize them. And then we pick those outside the brackets, and then we pick one of the brackets, and then we multiply them together. That is how we are going to factorize algebraic expression by grouping. So let's take examples and then see how it goes. So we have our first example. We have to factorize this algebraic expression. So we have four terms, right? 1, 2, 3, and then 4. So as I intimated earlier on, to factorize algebraic expression with four terms, we are going to group the terms such that each pair can have a common variable, a common factor. So looking at this, we have P and P. We can group MP and NP because these two terms have a common variable, which is P and P. We can also group MP and then MT because these two pairs have a common variable, which is what? M and then M. So let's solve it. So we have MP plus NP minus MT and then NT. So we are first going to group the terms such that each pair can have a common variable. So we have P and P, we can group, we have T and T, we can group them. So we have the groupings. Good. Then after that, we factorize each groupings. We are going to factorize each of the groupings. So you know that we have P here, we have P here, so we can what? Factorize P out. So you can factorize P out, we are left with what? M. Plus this P has been factorized out, we are left with what? N. We are done with this. Now let's move on to this side. We have T here, we have T here, so we can break T out and then we keep the rest inside the bracket. So this T is out, we are left with what? M. Now this minus is out, we have what? Positive. Now this T is out, we are left with what? N. So anytime you factorize algebraic expression by grouping, the terms within the bracket must always be the same. Anytime you factorize algebraic expression with four terms by grouping, the terms within the brackets must be the same. The term within the two brackets must be the same. So realize that we have M plus N, M plus N. They must be the same. So after that, you pick those outside the bracket and then you put them also in brackets. So we have P minus T. P minus T. And then you pick any of the brackets. Since they are the same, you can pick any of the brackets. M plus N. And then you are done. We have factorized this algebraic expression. Now, anytime you factorize algebraic expression, when you expand, you should get the original expression back. Is that clear? Good. Now, with this same question, somebody may also say we can choose MP and then MT because M is common to this very term. So let's try that one and then see. So we can group MP and then minus MT. We can also group NP and then NT. So we have this and that because each pair has a common variable, MM and N. So after that, we are going to factorize each grouping. So we have M is here, so we can bring M out. We are left with what? P. And then minus. This M is out, we are left with what? T. So we are done with the first grouping. Let's move on to the second grouping. So we have plus, we have NN, so we can factorize what out? N out, we are left with what? P. We have minus. Now this N is out, we are left with what? C. So we realize that the two brackets, the terms within the two brackets are equal, and always they must be equal. If they are not equal, then there's something wrong with your factorization. So we are going to group those outside the brackets. So we are going to pick them and then we put them inside the brackets. Then we pick any of the brackets, P minus T. You realize that using different method, we are arriving at the same answer. Let's take another example and then see how it goes. So we have our second example. We have to factorize ax by plus bx plus ay. So we have algebraic expression with 4 terms. So we are going to do that by what? Grouping. So what we are going to do is that we are going to group the terms such that each pair can have a common variable. So we have ax, bx. So these two terms have a common variable, which is what? X and x. So we have ax plus what? Bx. Then we have by and then ay. Y is common to them, so we can group that terms also. Then after that, we factorize each pair of groupings. We factorize them. So you see that we have x here, so we can factorize s out. So s is out, we are left with what? A. Now x is out, we are left with what? B. Good. Now y is here, we can factorize y out, we are left with what? B plus what? A. So as I said earlier on, the two brackets, the terms within the two brackets must be the same. So after that, we pick those outside the brackets. So we have x plus what? Y. And then after that, we pick any of the brackets. A plus what? B. Very, very easy and then simple. Somebody can also choose to group ax and then ay because these two terms has a common variable, which is a. And then by and then bx because these two terms also have a common variable, which is b. So when you do that, you are still going to arrive at this very answer. Let's take one more example and then away bars. So we have to factorize 3mx plus 2nx minus 3my, and that we have to factorize. So we have an algebraic expression with 4 terms. So you can factorize it by grouping. Good. So what we are going to do is we are going to group the terms with a common variable. So we have mx, nx, we have my. So which one should we group? Let's take m and then m. Okay, we have n and n, so we can also group that very part. Good. So we have 3mx and then minus 3my. Good. Then after that, we come and group the n and n. So we have 2nx minus 2ny. So after that, we factorize each groupings. So we have 3 here, 3 here. So we can factorize 3 out. We also have m here, so we can bring m also out. We are left with what? X. Then we have our minus. Now 3m is out. We are left with what? Y. Good. We have 2 here. We can bring 2 out. We have n here. We can also bring n out. Now we are left with what? X minus what? Y. So those within the brackets are the same. So we can proceed. So we are going to pick those numbers outside the bracket and then we put them also in the bracket. So we have 3m plus 2n. Then we pick any of the brackets. So we have x minus y. And voila, we are done. Very, very simple and then easy. Now let's try the other side too. Somebody may also decide to group this and then that. Okay, so let's do that also. So we can have 3mx and then plus what? 2nx. Then we group this and that because they have a common variable which is y. So we have minus 3my minus 2ny. So let's factorize them. So we have we have x here, so s can come out. We are left with what? 3m. We have our plus. Now this x is out, we are left with what? 2n. So we have our minus. So we have y is here, y is here. We can also factorize y out. We are left with what? 3m. Now this minus is out, so we can write it to be positive so that when we expand, we get the negative back. So this y is out, we are left with what? 2n. So those within the bracket are the same, so we can move on. So we are going to pick x minus y, and then we pick any of the bracket 3m plus 2n. So no matter how you group the terms, you are going to arrive at the same answer. But the most important thing is that those groupings, each pair must have a common variable. That is the most important thing. Now I'm going to give you some tutorial set questions. Kindly pause the video, you write them down, you try your hands on it. So these are tutorial set questions. Kindly pause the video, you try your hands on them. They are very, very easy. Kindly like, share, and then most importantly, subscribe to this web channel for more interesting episodes. See you next week. Bye-bye.